Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I watched House of the Dragon season 3, the second of his name. Now, I've fallen a bit behind because we're up to the fourth episode and I've just watched the third episode. But I am finding the show a bit slow, hard to really engage with. And I was just sitting there for most of the episode, counting the minutes, going, oh, when is this going to end? I want to go to bed. There was nothing really happening. I mean, it wasn't until the last 10 minutes, it was 53 minutes of just quiet talking in the shadows and people sort of going behind people's backs and whispering and talking and not a lot happening. And then 53 minutes, we have this big battle scene at the end for the last 10 minutes straight. And I'm like, yeah, that's just, couldn't they like balance that out a little bit? I mean, you just go from these really quiet, moody sort of scenes where everything's like in the shadows and creeping around and talking, and then you have these big battle scenes out of nowhere. It's really jarring, I find. But in this episode, with 3 years, I think it was 3 years, they've moved along, and the king has had a child who is 2 years old, a boy. So now the princess of dragons, I'm not going to try and pronounce her or remember her name, she is moody and jealous and sulking because she's like, well, you know, you only named me the princess to be the queen because you didn't have any other options. You had no heirs. You know, they kept dying, and now you've got one. So obviously, I'm of no use to you now. I'm just waiting to be, you know, farmed off for like, you know, for political gains or financial gains or something. So, and he does eventually assure her, you are going to be the queen. I didn't choose you because I had no choice. I chose you because I actually think you're the best. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, the relatives of the prince are trying to make sure he becomes the king, because then obviously that's going to help them because they're, you know, the brother of the king or whatever. I don't know how it works. I don't know much about the monarchy except I love the queen. That's about it. Okay, so she is not happy about it because he does initially try to farm her off. He's trying to help her because he's like, I want you to be happy. I want you to find someone. It's not that I'm trying to get something from this. I want you to actually end up with someone. So he was trying to set her up with people, and she had a tantrum and rode off. And the guy that she named to be, she brought into the army. I can't even remember what happened in that episode. She just picked him because she's looking at all the people, and she's like, you're the only one who's actually had battle experience. Okay, you can actually, you know, protect someone. You're supposed to protect someone. He chases after her and tries to get her to go back, and she's just being a princess and sulking, and then a boar comes out and attacks him and attacks her. He kills it. She really kills it. And then she goes back to, they're having some sort of event, and she goes back to where they're all camped out and everything, and everyone like looks at her, and she's definitely feeling like a freak. She's definitely feeling all kinds of issues, and she's a little tedious, but it would be a horrible situation to exist in. And this world is a horrible place to exist in. Now, the crab feeder is continuing his... continuing to cut a path through the territory he's trying to take over, and the other kings, the other houses, they're not getting any help from the king. He seems to be just focused on his grandchild, and literally he's trying to have a birthday party, and people are coming up to him saying, yeah, we need help, and he's just like, not today. And that seems to just be his whole approach to being a king, just not today, I can't deal with this. He is sick, he seems to be ailing. Honestly, I had trouble following what was happening. I had to like go through Wikipedia and actually read what actually happened in the episode just to be clear about, okay, because I missed that because I just could not focus because it was so slow and quiet and dragging on. Like, I think it was at 35 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. I'm like, no, finish it. I don't want to deal with this tomorrow. So it is a chore to watch this show, but I do want to know what happens. I do want to see where they go with it. I do want to compare it to the first, Game of Thrones series. So I am going to keep watching it, but I'm just going to watch it during the day where I have more energy, because watching it at night, I just wanted to go to sleep so bad. God, what else happened? Oh, of course, the end, the battle. Daemon basically... I think the king actually does do something, and then once he gets a sense that, he's like, well, I have to do this myself. I have to, I can't let him, take the honor. I have to trump him. So he basically uses himself as bait. He shows up with literally a white flag, bows, gives some guy his sword, and then turns around, stabs him in the gut, and then he basically does a James Bond running through the whole battle scene, dodging arrows, and suddenly he's a superhero. Eventually, in the end, he does get a few arrows in him, but then he just breaks them off. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be dead. They don't have antibiotics in this world, in this century. But yeah, he basically ends up getting to the crab feeder guy, killing him, cutting him in half, and then dragging his arm and head behind him, victorious with the ends of arrows sticking out of him. I'm like, okay, where's that going to put him in the next, step in this game? The next, how is that going to advance his circumstance? So that was the very exciting end of the episode, which woke me up, but the rest of the episode was putting me to sleep. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go watch the next episode. Bye.